Happy Ramadan to those who celebrate. Happy Pesach to those who celebrate. And happy Easter. Happy Easter. My name is Reverend Leslie, and I am one of your growing body of ministers, which is lovely. And we do this wonderful thing when we hit these major Christian religions, because science of mind, which is the teaching we follow, very much grows out of the metaphysical Christian tradition. And so we get to talk about these beautiful stories from the Bible through the lens of metaphysical interpretation and through the lens of what does this story mean to me 2,000 years later, more than 2,000 years later. What does this have to do with me today? And the wonderful thing about wisdom is that wisdom is always wisdom. There's always something for us to learn and to claim and to know. 2 years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, we talked about the tomb, about Jesus willingly entering the tomb, and what that meant to us at the time when we were in quarantine largely. Then last year we talked about the resurrection. It was our very first Sunday back after a very long time of staying home and participating solely through the online campus. And we were so happy to be back in one another's presence. We talked about claiming that resurrection for ourselves. Well, here we are a year later. And today we're going to talk about what happens after the resurrection. Because it doesn't help us a single bit if the miracle comes and we won't accept it. We can't trust it. We don't believe it. We won't let it in. Our story begins in a place you've probably experienced. 3 women absolutely crushed at the loss of their beloved. Not because he was the best teacher, not because he was the Son of God, but because he was their friend and family. There are these amazing beatific paintings of angelic women gazing lovingly up at the cross with halos, but I don't think that's what it looked like. I think it looked like this. I think it looked like, how do I move forward in this moment? The women at the cross were Mother Mary, his mother's sister, so his aunt, and Mary Magdalene, one of his very closest confidants and friends who had traveled the country with him, teaching as dear, dear friends. And perhaps you have had the experience when that which is most precious to you has been taken or put in danger, and the crushing blow of that moment. Throughout the teachings of Jesus, throughout his ministry, these women were integral. They were essential parts of his teaching. Some of his most important co-teachers. And metaphysically, they represent spiritual understanding, intuition, and devotional love. But in the moment of the crushing blow, all of that is out the window. None of us are sitting in quiet contemplation when the police are at the door, right? It just all falls in. And that's where our story starts. Everything has fallen in. Now, Jesus has told them just 3 days ago, they were at Passover dinner, and he told them all, I'm coming back. I'm going to rise. And they all said, neat story. Pass the bread. And then it happens. In this moment, in that moment, she is not thinking, he'll be back in 3 days. Any belief is just completely out the window. And that's how we are when life collapses. It doesn't matter what we've been told. It doesn't even matter what we would have said was the truth yesterday. When the collapse comes, We are on the ground. And so were they. So were they. So now, Jesus, their friend, their teacher, their beloved, their child, has died. For each one of us, in some way, the new life is already here. But there is this tendency to not trust it. How can we learn to trust it? Well, conveniently, as is often true in the teachings in and around the life of the master teacher Jesus, whether or not you believe those stories, let that just sort of sit back here for a moment. Let that go. And just feel into the story, because there is a pattern here. There is a set of instructions for us in the form of how each beloved handles when he comes back. Because we know he comes back. 3 days later, Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb. It is early, early morning, and it is still dark. Hear those words. It is still dark. Metaphysically, dark means we cannot see the truth yet. She goes to the tomb, and the stone has been rolled away. And she kind of peeks in. She doesn't dare go in. It's too much. She peeks in. No, Jesus. Oh my God, someone has stolen the body. Someone is desecrating him further. How could they do this to my friend? My friend. And she goes running to find the disciples. She goes running to the rest of the friends to say, oh my God, this thing has happened. It's gotten even worse. It's gotten even worse. And they go running. They go running to the tomb. And Simon Peter gets there first, because apparently he's the fastest guy. He gets there first. And as all of this has unfolded, the sun has begun to rise. Because when he gets into the tomb, he can see. And what does he see? Notice the metaphysical. The sun has risen. The light is up. He can see. He finds the wrappings on the ground. He finds the cloth that they had covered the body with on the ground. And immediately he says, oh, he told us this would happen. And he believes. He trusts completely that Jesus has done what he said he would do. Why? Why is this so easy for him? First of all, there's light. He's awake and aware, and he has embodied the teachings of his teacher so completely that it is implicit and immediate to remember the teaching. It's in his cells. It's in his bones. And he knows Jesus has risen. And he turns around, and Mary's still outside of the tomb, sobbing, just crushed. And when he turns, he looks and he sees angels asking her why she's crying. And she's crying so hard, she can't even open her eyes to see the angels. The grief is holding her in the darkness. Her eyes are closed. And then she hears a voice say, Mary. That's it. Mary. And she opens her eyes and she sees Jesus in his spiritual form, but she knows that it's him. When the light returns to her and she can hear him, she listens and understands. She listens and understands. Simon Peter didn't need to hear anything. It was so embodied, he just knew. He just knew. She needed to hear his voice, his teaching, but she was able to take it into understanding. That night, Jesus comes to a whole group of his disciples. Not everybody's there, but they all get to talk to him. And then he says, I've got to go. Stories tell us he descends into hell and goes up into heaven, and he has a grand old adventure. And while he's gone, Thomas comes back, and he apparently missed the Jesus dinner party. He comes back, and he says, You guys have been completely duped. You've been completely fooled. He says, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. I will not believe. Y'all have been conned. Now, a week later, Jesus came back. And he let Thomas put his fingers in the holes of his hands. And he let him put his hand in the slit on his side. He let him do all of these things. He wasn't offended. He let him do it. But he also said this, because you have seen me, you have believed. Really, because you have touched me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen yet and yet have believed. What does that mean? Does that mean if we need evidence that we're not blessed? Mm-mm. Because you notice, he came back and let Thomas do those things. Spirit never abandons us, and it absolutely does not hold against us where we are. Each one of these beloveds came to a place of belief and trust and understanding at the level they were able to in the moment. The lesson here is not, oh, Simon Peter is so much better than everybody else because he got it fast. No. The lesson here is use what you have where you are, and the rest always comes because Spirit will use us exactly as we are for our own healing, for our own claiming. We do not need to stay slaves to the fear and the pain. It will pull us down, but we don't have to stay down there. We will rise. We do rise. We have risen, and the miracles are here for us right now. So what do we learn from this? We learn to tell the story backwards. Tell the whole story backwards. Start like Thomas. Start like Thomas. Look for evidence. It is everywhere. Evidence of the good, evidence of the truth, evidence of the miracle is everywhere we look. Feel around for it. Feel around for it energetically. Feel around for it with our hands. Feel around for it with our heart, with our mind, with our truth, and come to the place where we can believe. And when we are there, next, we be like Mary. We open our eyes, and we listen to the truths that are everywhere present, and come to that place of understanding where we know that the teaching is present for us and we know that the goodness is present for us. And we start to feel ourselves becoming lightened and opened and unshackled from all that is. And then finally, we are up, we are on our feet, and we are ready to reach, and we are ready to leap, yes? So that's when we become like Simon Peter, when we don't even need to see or hear anything. We know it is embodied in our soul, and when the truth of the one is rising up from the inside and we hear it and we follow it, that is when we are completely free. Nothing can enslave us. Nothing can hold us in fear. Nothing. No physical ailment, no financial challenge, no relationship problem. There is nothing. Hear this, because it's true. There is nothing that cannot be healed in spirit if you stay in it. There is nothing that can ever keep you down. And so this is what this part of the story teaches us. That if we stay in it and we let the truth come through us, through whatever senses we have available in the moment, we will never, ever be slaves to pain and fear. If there is anything that these tales of these amazing Jewish teachers showed us. It's the power of service and contribution and showing up and meeting people right where they are. And as a community in New Vision Center, this has been such an integral part of who and what we are. And when we feel into how we support this community that touches people in these chairs and people in the online campus and people in the streets and children who don't have food, and help support our brothers and sisters and friends in Ukraine and everywhere in between. It's so easy to reach into our own hearts and know implicitly what is ours to give today. And so I simply invite us to feel into the space in this room that is so precious it almost feels like I'm violating it by speaking. And just let yourself know what is yours to give. There are envelopes and auto-tither cards in the pockets in front of you. There are infinite ways to give, including online. I just invite you to hold something that represents that gift consciously to your heart, if that feels good. And hear this blessing. On this sacred day, every gift is blessed. There is love right where we are. There is healing right where we are. There is more than enough of every needed thing right here in this perfect moment. We know that we are supported and uplifted. The evidence is everywhere we look. It's in our hearts. It's in our truth. And so I speak a word of blessing over every giver, over everyone within the sound of my voice. It is good, it is good, it is good. And so it is.
Every year on Easter Sunday, we have these beautiful lilies that have been purchased with a dedication, either to celebrate someone, to remember someone, or to honor someone. And our beloved Reverend Jeff pours his heart into creating a beautiful PowerPoint presentation. And this year we had the most dedications ever. And so it's going to be several minutes, and we invite everyone to sit back and really be with this masterpiece of celebrating and remembering beloveds.
Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Beloved child, my heart is yours. Beloved child, beloved child. You are the light of the world, beloved child. Go out, spread light to the world. Be strong, be kind, be brave. Know your mind, know that you're divine. Know that it's alright to be afraid. Know that you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. धन धन गुरु रामदास, धन धन गुरु रामदास, धन धन गुरु रामदास, धन धन गुरु रामदास। Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released. Know you are loved. Rest in peace. Dream your sweet dreams till your soul is released.